Well, folks, I would like to apologise for being late to come onto the podcast tonight. I was meant to be on at 9 o'clock. Now we are 23 minutes past nine. Keith here from Commander Hoop Celtic. It's my weekly podcast. Hopefully, I will start getting people back on again. Just been busy times at the moment. So let's kick it off. Let's talk about Kilmarnock the weekend. We obviously played Kilmarnock just gone. We have Hampden, half five kickoff against Killie. We win, we're into a final to defend our League Cup. It's either going to be Aberdeen or it's going to be Rangers. Either one. Look, it don't really matter. It doesn't really matter to me. How's it going? I hope you're well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you like the background as well. The flag in the background there. So yeah, so I'll pop on, have a quick chat, which is it all for about 20 minutes. Just talk about the game coming up, about obviously transfer activity as well. Hopefully, it's going to happen the next few days. While hoping that this Jovanovic stuff is just cleared and done with, so we can move on and focus on what's the most important thing: bringing players in that want to play for the short and get decent chunk of money for these players. But at this moment of time, the Jovanovic thing is up in the air. I think this is going to become a bit more between a couple of clubs in Italy, and there's no fresh reports about from Chelsea that they want them. No fresh reports about from Manchester United. To be honest with you, I don't look at other clubs who they bring in. Only focus on our own club. So yeah, sorry about the delay coming on. Get the comments in. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. It's been a good few subscribers over the last couple of days as well. Obviously, I had a bit of a say about Chris Boyd recent times as well. Serves him right because he just talks absolute nonsense on the panel. But look, that's his job and that's what he wants to talk about. But we're here to talk about our own team, where we can what we can where we can strengthen. At the moment, we have a couple of players in that midfield position, defensive midfield position that need to clear out. We need a James McCarthy gone. Itaguchi will probably go if it's J League or somewhere else. Who attacked you? To be honest with you, it just wanted to change something different. I wanted to change the look, change it around. I wanted to, be Aaron Moyes fanboy. So I thought of changing, you know, get it all chopped off. Chopped off. I hope you're well up and hope over in Belfast. How's it going in Queensland, Australia? Good morning to you. How's it going? 5 a day. You know, I don't know if you're talking about other 5 a day, but yeah, I have the blue, white, and red of Japan on, folks. Like, there's probably going to be a couple of little moan bags. Oh, why are you wearing blue, white, red? Because I want it. What are you going to do about it? So yeah, get the comments in. Get the comments in. I want to ask you as a question. There's 34 years watching at the moment. 34. Um, how out of 10, what would you rate Jovanovic's career at Celtic, the 18 months at Celtic he's done? A scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate? And I just want to ask you that. And the same with Giakoumakis. What would you give Giakoumakis rating out of 10 as a Celtic player? Dying to know. Dying to know. You know, we'll go through each player. We'll go through each position as well. Obviously, I'm gonna be talking with Joe Hart as well. With Benjamin Seacrest. Talk about obviously seven for Jovanovic. Not bad. Not bad. An 8 out of 10 out of Jovanovic. Few eights in there. Not bad. Not bad. 8. Um, I'd be probably on the 8 witches as well, to be honest with you. How's it going in Adelaide? So a couple of Aussies tuning in. It's great to see. It's great to see as well. If you haven't seen the community picture I put up on the channel, it's basically a guy from Instagram is at the making a Greg Taylor t-shirt with Morelos. So have a look at the link. I think he's selling them for 15 quid a pop. I'm gonna wear one next week. We made a deal with each other that I'll wear it on the channel and hopefully it's a belter, black one. But 6 out of 10. I think an 8 out of 10 to be honest with you. I think obviously his attributes of scoring goals, penalties, and free kicks has been up there. Fun across on the ball is horrendous. That's what I find about Jovanovic. I think his final product wasn't the greatest. But look at we're all entitled to opinion. How's it going, Peter? Hope you're well. Yeah, GG 6.2. I'd probably say 7 with Giakoumakis. I think Giakoumakis to the start of his Celtic career was obviously injuries and missing that penalty. Fans were obviously against him at a point. But when he came in, when he came into the second half of the season, when he started getting on a bit of away from the injuries. Look at the goals he scored, big time. Belfast is in the house. Me and the boys are over Saturday for the finals at Hampden. Do you know what? I wish I was going to the final at Hampden on Saturday. I'm going to Dublin on Friday, as you all know. I'll be back on Sunday. Would have been an 8 if he didn't play so shite against the scum. I wouldn't define his one performance over his whole Celtic career. Of a one so far, one performance. I think overall, he's been a decent right back, but the argument's sake to it is Ralston done a good job to keep Jovanovic out of team at times. So there you go. Now we have Alistair Johnston in, and he's done pretty decent since he came in. I thought his home debut, he looked quite composed. Even getting up that pitch, getting him to flow the football. I'm delighted with him so far, really am. Phil Mitchell, CSC. They have Ian Beale, then we have Phil Mitchell. That's it. The Phil Mitchell CSC. Aramoy CSC. That's what it is. The t-shirt looks good. Looks like Morales is talking now to Greg. Good evening, Keith. How are you? How's it going, Topic Talker? I don't think, look, at Lawwell has obviously been a chief executive for the club for a long time. And I know he's obviously moved on to be acting chairman or non-executive chairman, whatever you want to call it in that aspect. I think Lawwell, he's a smart guy. Not a lot of us like Lawwell, but I think he's a smart guy when it comes to business. And if we do get this guy they're talking about reportedly €6 million, 3 million up front, and then an additional 3 million with add-ons and incentives and stuff like that for Chowi Sung folks. I think it's a good bit of business. This guy is obviously played in the World Cup, a couple of goals for South Korea. There's other clubs headhunting from in the Bundesliga, the MLS, Minnesota, and the MLS are offering 5 million up front and 30% fee onto it as well. So, Chow, if he's don't know who I'm talking about with regards to Chow Gui Sung, I'll just try to throw a few bullet points at you. 6'2". He's been capped for South Korea 21 times. He's 24 years of age. He scored 24 goals in 31 appearances between the K-League, the Asian Champions League, and also another competition he played in South Korea. So there was reports that Ren were in from Borussia Dortmund were in from at one point, but if we get this guy over the line, I think it's a good bit of business. It's been out there since Sunday that we placed a bid, and I don't think we should go any higher than what there's reports from Fabrizio Romero that we're offering potentially 6 million. If we go any higher than that, it's a waste. But it has to balance out what Giakoumakis, if we let Giakoumakis go, because there's no point of letting Giakoumakis go and we don't get this guy. I know there's talks of obviously the Danish guy. I can't even pronounce his name right. The Danish guy that plays for Rosenborg, that guy, if he's not who I'm talking about, GG, not sell him. Good move, pace. Let's get up 3-0, get McCarthy a freedom. Some boys, some ankles now. McCarthy doesn't play for whatsoever. Give us just a starting lineup for Saturday anyway in the comments. I'm going to go for Benjamin Seacrest, Alistair Johnston, Bear the Bay, because if Greg Taylor's not fully fit, you go for Starfelt, you go for Carter Vickers. You don't change something if it's working. If it's working, you don't change it. Simple as that. You keep the way it is. Consistency is key. You start with Aaron Moy. You start with, and you know what? I'm going to say David Turnbull. Give David Turnbull a run for his money, because there's a lot of David Turnbull backers on this channel. And I want to see David Turnbull playing a semi-final against Kilmarnock and prove a lot of people wrong. If he can't do it against Kilmarnock at Hampden, when's he ever going to fucking do it, to be honest with you? So David Turnbull starts with Rio Atate. Right wing, you go for Liala Bada. Left wing, you go for Jota. And then up front, you go for Giakoumakis. Kyogo has pace. He's been scoring. But if Giakoumakis is about to leave the club in the next 7 days or whatever it's going to be, let him go out on a high. Let him go on a high with a goal and getting us into the final, or two into the final. Simple as that. The strong enough bench there. Hakizmanovic could be back, hopefully. I think there's enough on the bench. Sometimes you forget how many players you have, O'Reilly and stuff like that. So, yeah. I think it's a good game to play Turnbull, big time. Think, why not? Like David Turnbull, he's one of them players. Does he go on alone? Does he stay at the club? Is he good enough to start at times? It really gives you a head scratcher. And that's why I have to shave the head, because I'm sick of scratching my hair, getting bleeding all these patches with David Turnbull. GG is a goal scorer. Opportunities are the only difference. Missed so much last season and still equal top goal scorer. His stats are prior to Celtic speak for themselves. Who was it? That guy off Ross County was up there as the top goal scorer with GG. GG. I think it'd be annoying to let GG go. But if he's thoughts on a new keeper, I think Joe Hart. Look, Joe Hart's been a good servant for Celtic over the last 18 months. He obviously stepped into the captain's role. He has experience. But fuck me, Jesus Christ. When that ball goes back to him, you might as well just pretend you're having a can of Red Bull and get a caffeine heart attack, because that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like with regards to Joe Hart. I think Secret starts. I think Secret needs to run of games, as much as people are going to turn and say, well, hold on a minute, Keith. You just said, why would you change something that is not broken? Joe Hart can't be trusted at the back with the ball. If you want to keep enjoying Ange ball, you have a keeper that's more secure with the ball. Yes, Joe Hart is a good presence to have as a keeper. And yes, he recovered from Morelos's press on him, and then he made a save at Ibrox. But long term, if you just want to talk about long term here, you bring Seacrest in, start getting a run of games. If it's Joe Hart getting the league games, Seacrest gets the cup games, and then if you win the league by March, you post Seacrest in them nets for the rest of the season as number one, and then let Seacrest be number one from Hart next season. I think you need to give him that experience. Seacrest has played in the league for multiple years at Dundee United. I've said it many times on this channel. So I got attacked too. Said it many times on the channel that, just getting that message there, that Seacrest is the best keeper in the league, but he needs time. He needs time. Joe Hart, over the years, his form dropped. Yeah, obviously left Man City, went to Torino, went to Burnley, went to West Ham, was at Spurs. Did he get a consistent string of games at these clubs? No, not even much at Burnley. Yes, he's had to get a consistent run of games at Celtic. He helped us win the league. He pulled off some crucial saves last season, and I praised him for being a good servant. But if you want to move forward as a club and you want to secure someone that can understand Ange ball, which Ange brings Seacrest in the last summer, you go for Seacrest. Simple as that. He's going to play in the League Cup game. And if he plays good in the League Cup game, you keep him in against St. Mirren. You keep him in against Greenock. Give him a string of games. And if it doesn't work out, you go back to Job. But maybe we do need another keeper in the summer. It's not what I think. It's not what you think. It's what Ange thinks, So, yeah. Keep Joe until he's in. He might have more experience then. Look, I think Joe will stay at Celtic, but I think he might come in as some aspect as a goalkeeping coach to take off from Steve Woods at one point. Don't really know. I'm just talking shy, Hart scares me when the ball comes at his feet. Great keeper, otherwise, he needs replaced. And it isn't it tragic that we're not complaining about a keeper. We're just being honest here. We're 9 points clear. We're 9 points clear of our rivals. We're still into the 2 cups. We have a superior goal difference, and we're talking about changing that keeper. What is wrong with us? There's people that are going to turn around and say on this channel right now, say, well, I don't think we should change it. I think Joe Hart is steady, number one, and he has the clean sheets, and we have the goal difference there. Why would we change it? As I said, Ange ball. Joe Hart at one point at Ibrox was 40 yards out. 40 yards out. Like, what the fuck? Is that? And then if he gets, and they get the ball and they string it and they hit halfway line shot or hit 60-yard shot and he's chasing back. We've seen what happened with Wayne Rooney done it to him. Wayne Rooney done it to him when he was at Everton, I wouldn't say we're complaining. We're talking about how we can keep it going forward and forward. 100%. As I said, you've brought this up a couple of times on the channel, Topic Talker, and I remember you going back talking about this about a year ago as well, regards to keepers before Joe Hart even came in. We have experience and experience in the bench as well, and the only way that we're gonna get better as a club in every aspect is playing the best players we can get. And Joe Hart was there to fill the cracks because look what we had. We had Barkas, we had Scott Bain. Now Scott Bain is not the worst keeper in the world, but he won't be near my first choice. So, and we have Connor Hazard that was at Helsinki at the time. So he went to Helsinki. We have young Toby as well that can come in and do a job. He's doing well with the B team. Joe Hart was only here to fill the cracks, folks. We need someone that's steady with the ball at their feet. Joe Hart is like the equivalent when Brendan Rodgers' regime, when we had Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon, cracking shots, shots stopper, unbelievable shot stopper, one of the great signings, you could say. People might disagree, say, well, how was he a great signing? He was an invincible keeper. He won trebles with Celtic. So that's a great signing right there. Well, it was a free signing, got him for nothing, paid off. But that's what Joe Hart is like of Gordon, years of experience, but when the ball comes to the distribution, is poor. And this is what I'm going to say to you as well. I was actually going to bring that up, to be honest with you. Will Ange root the Japanese league and look for a keeper? Now, I haven't looked at any clubs in the J League to say, oh, look at that keeper stats, look at this. I don't do that type of stuff. I don't have hours on my hands to root stats out like certain vloggers do. And look at they all do great jobs, fair play to them. They all have their own way of doing the channel. Mine's about passion and communication. The fact didn't do it ourselves. It's not even that. It's you go back to the League Cup semi-final last year against St. Johnstone. Joe Hart done the same thing. The ball came back to him and he didn't score from it and hit the post. So it's not just one or two occasions where you say, oh Jesus, Joe Hart done this. It's been multiple occasions. We're looking about 6 or 7 times he nearly got caught out in that Celtic. And I know he's trying to say nearly didn't lose the race or whatever you want to say. But I'm looking for the future. I want a keeper that's consistent, a good shot stopper, and Benjamin Seacrest, in my eyes, can be the replacement for Joe Hart. So as I said, my scenario is give Benji goals on Saturday, which he probably will be because he started the League Cup games. Put him in against St. Mirren if he has a clean sheet on Saturday. If he has a clean sheet, you play him against Greenock in the Cup and see where you go from there. And then if he brings Joe back in for the string of games until we win the title, that's okay. And then you bring Benji in whenever we win the title. If it's 3 or 4 games to go, give Benji that experience. And then we put him as a number 1 next season. So I will do a video on this. I will talk about this yet again on the channel. Just the video is not. So let's see. I think Hart has 2 years left at Celtic, maximum 3. You're not the only person that said that to me today. My mate Gas said that to me as well, Roman Catholic. Random Catholic, not Roman Catholic. Random Catholic. Maybe, but he needs to work on his footwork. Simple as that. You can't keep playing that ball at the back, and he's taking players for granted. That's coming at him. He's taking players for granted. Yeah, he's pulled off some, nice skills, nice flicks, getting it past these players and clearing these lines. But I'd rather have someone more secure when it comes to the ball being put at their feet. You gotta have the whole package, not just being a good shot stopper. You gotta have that. He does have the leadership, but I'd rather Seacrest at this moment of time. I love Joe. Look at Joe. Nothing. Don't think I'm giving Joe a hard time because I'm not, because I've stuck up for Joe so many times last year in the channel, and I will stick up for him again. I think he's a really good keeper. He's a good shot stopper. He has good leadership skills. He's good at making himself good in his box presence, not afraid to get stuck in left throw-ins for crosses and stuff, and that's the way a keeper should be. But it's the footwork that worries me about Joe. That's all. You know, some people don't rate Joe Hart. That's understandable. He's a good keeper, but maybe a young Japanese keeper as a second option forward. I don't think we should even, like as I said earlier on the channel, should we go and look at the J League and start rating for Asian keepers as well? You know, we have a really solid Japanese contingent there at the moment. I think there's keepers that we could look in Europe for, young keepers as well, maybe from down south. If we want to go in, explore the Japanese market before the J League starts and get a keeper, it's up to Ange. It's up to the recruitment. I'm sure he has scouts over in Japan looking, see what happens. Hart has the experience, but his decision making is questionable. 100%, 100%, John. Joe Hart, when he signed, I wasn't sure about him. I was delighted when we got him because I was like, we needed a bit of leadership in there, because look at the team that Ange took over. Edward, his head wasn't there. He scored a couple of goals start the season, then he left for Palace. Oyer was gone before even a competitive game was kicked. Christie was gone. Like Bolingoli's gone. Sorrow is on loan in Portugal. Mikey Johnson's on loan. I can't even think of half the players because there was such a clear out. As far as I know, I think there was like 14 players that went at one point. Yeah, not a bad option as well. Maybe a Scandinavian keeper. Hopefully he's not a Marcus Hedman. Definitely not. If you want to progress in Europe, we should have a Foster type. But that's the thing. Fraser Foster obviously had chances on Norwich when he was on loan. Well, his parent club was Newcastle, when he played in League One and then played in Championship with Norwich. Went to Celtic. Then we signed him on a permanent. Then let him go to Southampton. Then he obviously didn't play much first team football for Southampton at that time. And then he came back to Celtic for his third time. What about South Korea? There was obviously talks. They were looking at a South Korean keeper last season. Can't remember his name, but there was a lot of talk of a South Korean keeper. But at the moment, the only eyes on South Korea is getting Cho Gi-sung. Patrick Klamala left before Ange came in. Yeah, Patrick Klamala is obviously playing for Red Bull. New York Red Bull. He's done an all right job for them. I don't know if he has even been around the mix of the Poland squad. Obviously, Lewandowski is always going to be picked ahead of him anyway. Roll on the 8th of April, Glasgow Derby. I'm not even thinking about the 8th of April. Thinking about just taking every game as it comes. I don't think that far ahead, man. We have a league to win, and the only way you're going to do it is by beating every team in front of you every single week. Forget about them. Forget about what they're doing. Let's focus on what we're doing. Let's focus on getting Kamara done. Let's focus on St. Mirren in the league, and then keep taking every team after that. Don't think too far ahead. Just enjoy it at the moment. Because you think too far ahead and you're saying roll on the 8th. What if we drop points before the 8th? And then you start sweating, you're like, fuck. Jesus, I was thinking too much into it. So, McCarthy, let him go. 100% let him go. He hasn't really contributed much. A couple of assists there and then for a bit of breakup play and stuff like that, but no, not done nothing for me. How's it going, Timmy Bing? Not too bad in yourself. Johnston is a good signing. He looks good, but time will tell. I've said this on the channel and I'll say it again. I have a cousin in Alberta and he goes to a few of the Canada games. And unfortunately, he's a Newcastle fan of all teams. He supports Newcastle, doesn't support the Glasgow Celtic. And he said to me, Alistair Johnson is going to be a future captain for Celtic. And I was like, that's bold words. But I'll mark him on it. Let's see what happens. Good day from Sydney. We have people from Queensland, we have people from Sydney, we have people from Adelaide. It's great to see all these people jumping in. Tell us where you're from, watching from. There's a few from Belfast, It's great. It's great, What about the Mexican keeper? I think he's like, what age is he now? 26? He's at the playing like 4 or 5 World Cups at this rate. He only comes out of caves when the World Cup's on. Big Foster. And Big Foster's obviously at Tottenham at the moment. The problem with Foster was it was his salary. Reportedly he was on 120 grand a week, and he wasn't even willing to cut his salary down to 40 grand. And I don't blame him. If you're getting paid triple the amount of money to sit on the bench for Southampton, are you going to leave for Celtic, even though you're going to play his first team football and win trophies? Yes, we go back to that League Cup final against Rangers, and he was unstoppable. He won us that League Cup. As much as Julian scored, he won it. He won it. Oh, it was great. Even the way he slid down the pitch and the knees and all, great. Who's YJ? YG? Yusuke? Is it Yusuke? Itaguchi? What are you talking about here? I haven't seen much of him, you know. And before he came in, I was boasting like, "This is going to be the best signing left up to trade him. This is going to be the man. This is going to be the man that's going to sort the midfield." And then obviously Rio has done it, and Rio's been phenomenal. You know, been phenomenal. If this is your first time watching the channel, please hit that subscribe button below. It's free of charge. I'm not looking for any subscriptions. I'm not looking for any donations. I just want you to subscribe. Majority of you have subscribed. I know the familiar names is our legends. And whenever I do meet you on the street, if it's in Glasgow or when I'm home in Dublin, I was on the bus the other day with my kids, and the bus driver was like, "I watch you on YouTube. You're that podcast guy. You're fucking nuts." I was like, "Okay, cheers, mate. Cheers." So yeah, and shout out to the guy that's taught me in Gallagher's Bar in Glasgow at the Enoch Centre. Tell me that his dad watches the podcast as well. Thank you very much for the nice messages as well. So yes, all your feedback is great. It gives me the motivation to come on and talk absolute spill to you. I can see a Celtic and Rangers final. Come on, the sheep. Liam Scales winner on Sunday. Mark my words. Johnson is going to be a Celtic star, hopefully. Best thing I've seen of Itaguchi is his bun, sadly. That's it, Jamie. Not much so far. How's it going from Ottawa? How are you getting on, Tony? Hope you're well. I've been to Ottawa before myself. Last time I was in Ottawa would have been 2001 of all times. Ottawa's nice. Capital Canada. Family in Kitchener, so I know Ontario quite well. Why would you let him go? Because he's not getting game time. So what's the point of having someone on the bench that's rotting away if he's not going to contribute? You have now a Watt that came into that position. No, so there's no point of keeping someone there. Well, wasting the wage cap, wasting the wages. Look at that's my opinion on it. So yeah. My wife is still waiting for the right Irishman to leave before she's obsessed with the accent. I don't blame her. It's meant to be the most sexiest accent in the world. And to be honest with you, it is a good accent, but we're here to talk about Celtic. Look, you'd be fine. You'd be grand. She's not going to leave you. She's your wife for a reason. Don't be worried about her. She's not going to leave you. I'll send you a letter. I'll send you a letter to the post saying, "You don't leave that power cord guy. He's good skin. It's good skin." It's been a while. I know. I don't really come on as much as I used to, folks. It's because busy all the time. I hope it's like the blanket the missus got me in the background. It's over the mirror. So it has my beautiful name on it. And it has the colours. I hope he's like the layout. It's a bit nice, isn't it? It's a bit nice. I thought I'd put in the background. I mean, we got a lovely flag here as well, thanks to Gale Design against the famine and the crown. And so yeah. Look at tune in, get the popcorn out, get the bevies on. You know, it's Wednesday, it's hump day. So yeah, they're talking about that. Oh, they talk about the Belfast accent. Oh, good luck. Don't go for that accent. Jesus. I'm only messing. I need to have it. I can't wait to get back over or get up there when I'm home for the weekend. I think the Aberdeen have a great chance. I think they do. Look at Johnny Hayes and Liam Scales would be up for it. And I think they're going to get revenge after them beating them in Pittodrie as well. Jim Goodwin wants to make a stance at Aberdeen. You got to beat the big teams. Simple as that. It's nice. I'm glad he's like it. You know, it's a nice flag, isn't it? Nice flag. I'm Belfast flag. But yeah, we'll get that put up in the what's the name of that building? The City Square, town, City Hall, is it? City Hall in Belfast. We get that flag put up there, will we, Marty? It's suiting well. But Yeah, keep the comments coming in, keep the questions coming in. There's a question I want to ask you is we're speaking about since we were speaking about Joe Hart, what would you rate Joe Hart's Celtic career out of 10? That's what I want to know. I really want to know that now. Appreciate your videos. Short, get to the point. I don't like waffling too much, random cat. Like I don't like these people that go on for like 20 odd minutes. Or I know this podcast, they do an hour podcast. I can't do it. I can't do it because I'm not a parrot. I'm not going to repeat myself, especially if I'm doing it on my own. Definitely not, you know. But I'm glad you like it. Short, straight to the point. If you don't like, you don't like. You know where to go. Yup. Well, thank you very much. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Oof. Why a 6 out of 10? That's what I want to know. That's a bit critical of him. 6 out of 10. What? 9 out of 10, Ellen. Great to see you in. See Hart signed a player from Japan. Yeah, came from the same club as Iniesta for Karabashi and Kyogo. 7 out of 10. Star comment. 6 out of 10. Oof. This is an interesting one. I think there's a lot of people. I want to know in the comments why he's going for 6 and 7 out of 10. Just say, is it down to his footwork? Is it just down to him taking players for granted? Let me know, like opposition players for granted. I really want to know. As I said, I'm not here to slam Joe Hart or go against Joe Hart. I'm a Joe Hart fan, but I just don't like his distribution of the ball. That's all. That's all. That's the only fault, I think. Out of 10, I think it's 8 out of 10. And the reason why I'm saying 8 out of 10 is because last season, when McGregor was out, him and Beaton stepped up as leaders and guided us through that time. And I think he's been a really good keeper to come in and fill the cracks and be won a league with him. And we won a League Cup and pull off some cracking saves at Hampden in the League Cup final. So I'm going to go an 8 out of 10 for Joe Hart. Room for improvement. Footwork has to be improved. I think he speaks well about the club. I think he's enjoying himself at Celtic. But it's just the distribution is killing me. It's absolutely killing me so many times. I know no keeper's perfect, but he just something that he takes so for granted. The ball comes from instead of hoofing it or going, square one. I'd rather see Joe Hart give away, kicking the ball out of play, and throw in for the opposition than having that shot at the back for 30 seconds, trying to think he's Zinedine Zidane with the ball because it's absolutely shocking. I'd say an 8.5 out of 10. He's contributed a lot. Exactly. We don't know what he does behind the scenes, And what do you think of Callum McGregor? Great question, Leah. Phenomenal captain. A guy that I doubted as a captain. And I have to say, so proud of him. So fucking proud of him. That he came through the youth system, took over from Bruni, and he's made it his own stance as a captain. And look at when he came back against them for the 3-0 game, calling Barisic a shite bag and all, whatever you call him. He look at just overall, like even that goal against Aberdeen a couple of months back, he is a leader. He is a proper leader. And he's made that's thanks to Scott Brown. It's thanks to Ange. It's thanks to the players around them as well that believe and give him the confidence. And most of all, it's thanks to the fans that believe in him. Because I didn't believe in him out straight, which is when Ange gave him the captaincy, he was like, oh, here we fucking go. Can he do this? But I'm eating me words. Like Greg Taylor, he's made Greg Taylor a cracking left back. He's made Anthony Ralston a good right back. He's given Callum McGregor a good captain's opportunity, and he's done well with. So yeah. A couple of snakes in Europe. Look at every keeper makes mistakes. It's hard to keep 100% concentration when you're not used to. And let me see. 8 out of 10, one flaw. We need the leadership. Such a young team. Exactly. That's what I've been saying, Tony. I think he came in, see at the cracks, bit of leadership in the back. And plus, we had a new defence as well. People forget about. We had Carter Vickers that came in, Starfelt that came in. And we all know a lot of people did not like Starfelt. People call him Arsfeld, call him, just giving him a hard time. And look at, he was missed when he was injured. He's done a decent job. And I know a few people were like, Jens is better. Jens is better. No, Starfelt for me. Even if he makes a mistake or two, Starfelt for me. So I'm going for Um, that's it. Presence is massive, but at the same time, he's working at kicking. So hopefully, Benji does a decent job on Saturday against Kilmarnock. Last time he played Kilmarnock at Hampden, I was at the game, unfortunately. 18th of March 2012. I'll always remember it. It was the day after Paddy's Day. I was over here having a few bevies in Damure for Paddy's Day, and then we went to the game at Hampden and we lost 1-0. They scored in the 86th minute. I went there to get me pie. In the 80th minute, came back right beside the Killie fans, and then fucker scored. They scored. So I don't do Hampden, folks. I've been to Hampden 3 times, and we've lost. So I won't be touching Hampden. So don't ask me if I ever go to a game in Hampden. Unless I'm not playing Scotland again, I'll try to get a ticket. But yeah. Secret's fit for Saturday should be no problem. Should be starting. We should get a squad update tomorrow by Ange, I say. Gotta go, folks. The trouble and the strive. Watch a movie. Take care, Marty. Pleasure seeing you again. Any decent recommendation for a pub and restaurants around Hampden? Not around. I don't live around that area, so I'll get these Celtic fans that are watching this to around tell you. Closest to Hampden, the Glen Cairn. That's what I'm usually charting the boys playing there near Rutter Glen. So that's what I'd say to you. Do you think we will buy Jens in the summer? No. I think we have to bring in Karabashi and Awati can play the centre back as well. No. Am I in the Green Brigade? No, I'm not. I don't even go to many games. So there's no point in me being in any supporter clubs. Well, I'm always back in Dublin every weekend. So I'm not in any Green Brigade or the boys. They all do great jobs with their banners and sticking them. I know some people are anti-Green Brigade, but I think they speak for their organisation and some parts of Celtic fans as well. Everyone has different opinions, but some of the banners have been A1. And most of all, doing the food banks for people in need is a big thing as well. But I like him, but I do think we need another centre back. Sorry, I haven't really itchy nose, folks. One thing I want to talk about as well on the channel is the allocation for Ibrox. Should Celtic scrap the tickets, not take up the tickets for the last game against them, or should we take up the tickets? Because obviously there was reports of fans being hit with glass bottles and stuff like that, and the safety of our fans is number one. And I know a lot of Celtic fans don't want them near our stadium. Some people just rather have none of them in and be like the 3-0 game last season. I'm on the fence with it because I think if you're going to try to sell one of the biggest derbies in world football, you're going to have both sets of fans in. That's my opinion of it. I think there should be, if I had my way, as much as I don't like them in the stadium, I think you should go back to the old ways of let us have that stand and let them have that corner. I know some people will be like, Keith, in my fuck, give them tickets to their stadium. Some people will say, so they give me the full stand back, or we don't take any allocation. Simple as that. That's my honest opinion. I don't think the 700. I don't feel confident of sending 780 fans to Ibrox after what happened the other day. 8,000 fans or 10,000 fans, happy days, but I don't feel safe letting our supporters go to Ibrox, only 700. I know we've been there in the past and stuff, but not after what happened the other day. So, my opinion, you can say as you want to say as well. These are certainly welcome to. That's what we're here for. We need to have Karabashi, Welch, Jens Starfeld for centre back. I think Welch will move on, to be honest with you. I think Welch will move on. MLS teams, a couple of clubs in the MLS are looking at him as well. So see what happens with that. There's no particular name clubs, but I know Anthony Joseph of Sky Sports have said there's been interest there from the MLS. There was talks of Porto were in from as well, And I look at if Welch has been at the club since a young age, and he's obviously won trophies at Celtic and stuff like that, and let him go move on for he's the best for himself. At the end of the day, the job, if he wants to progress and get first team football and he's not getting at Celtic, let him move on. Exactly. Just put it back to the way it was. The two of them need to come around the table, and the SFA need to come around the table, and Sky Sports that make a big ordeal about this fixture and say, look, there's two fixtures left. Celtic, here's your stand back at Ibrox for it. Well, it's not your stand, definitely not your stand. But here's your allocation back of 8,000 or 8,500 or 10,000, whatever it can be, and they'll get theirs back as well. Because it's only way it's going to be fixed. I'm sick of talking about every single fixture, but it has to be talked about because people keep bringing it up. You know, like exactly if we're thumping them, Jens, Jens, what like Jens hasn't even featured in the new year. You know, and the new centre back looks all right. Which one? Because Iwata can play centre back. Karabashi haven't seen much of him so far. Obviously, the right back looks all right. Alistair Johnson, he looks pretty good, you know. And adds to the atmosphere 100%. As I said, I know people are very, very in their ways and like, I don't want them near their stadium. They destroyed the place. They always 15 grand a toilet damages and wrecking the seats and stuff like that. I can understand that. I can understand the frustration that. But if you want to enjoy the fixture into an extra level, let them have it. As a, when we're beating them 2 or 3-0, just seeing them walking out, it's just early days. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, yeah, see what happens. I'm going to do another 3 minutes of this, folks, and I'll be jumping off. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge. I'd be really appreciated if you could. I'll try to get another podcast in on Friday night before I head to the airport as well. Have a chat, which is if there's any transfer activity. Actually, if we do sign someone on Friday morning, which Celtic are always prone to announcing it early in the morning on Friday, I will. I'm gonna try have a chat with one Celtic fan view, so you can get him on the channel. I think he's a cracking YouTuber if you haven't seen him yet. He's based in Spain, I think. Guy with glasses, you know, body guy. He's pretty good. What he does, I like his content. I have to say, I have to enjoy watching his content. There's only a handful of Celtic vloggers I would sit down and watch, and I'm not going to name all of them and say, oh, well, this person's better than this person. Well, he's one of them that needs to be up there, and do subscribe to his channel. He's nearly 8,500 subs. So it'd be great to see him get into the 10K before the next derby, big time. I'm going to try to get him on. He's a good skin, very honest. He used to do all the women's recognition clips and all that, but he's obviously changed around and he's came on and bring his channel up to another level, which is brilliant to see, you know. If you had to pick a player from a different Scottish club to play for Celtic, who would it be? I know you're probably waiting to hear me saying Kevin Nesbitt. We should have signed him 2 years ago. Lawrence Shankland, no. As much as he's scoring goals, definitely not. I'm trying to think here. Like, I know it sounds terrible, but I don't really watch other players. Not saying I don't know the league, I just don't give a shit about other teams, to be honest with you. Not anyone from Rangers, anyway. Interesting one. Really interesting, because I'm looking at it and trying to think myself. There's not really an Aberdeen that really sticks out, you know. Porteous, definitely not. Definitely won't go near Porteous. His head's up his arse. He thinks he's bigger than he is. Nisbet, maybe. If Martin Boyle wasn't injured, I'd probably go for Martin Boyle, but obviously he's out with a long injury. So they're the only ones that stick out for me, to be honest. He's talking about AJ. What's this about AJ? What's this one? Well, that's it. We should be selling. Like, there's been two sides of this story. It's basically saying that they want to take him on loan, and they're willing to spend 7.8 million on a loan, which is madness. And then there's talks of him going there on loan, and they're willing to pay 8 million at the end of the season. I don't know what to believe, to be honest with you, George. I think it's a lot of nonsense. But even though I have to talk about it because that's what's getting thrown out in the social media platforms, Roma probably going to come in with a bid. And I think Roma will offer 10 million. I think Roma will offer between 10 or 12 million. I'm not talking to any Roma chief executive or Fabrizio Romero in the background, but I think they will. I think Roma have a bit of cash there, and they probably will. I think Roma are a much bigger club than Monza anyway. Bit of a rich history there. Mourinho's a good manager as well. Good stadium. Live in Rome, why not? Obviously, Rome derby against Lazio. Not a hope as a backup keeper. I see Rome are interested. Thanks for the live chat. You're certainly welcome. So yeah, folks, I'm gonna leave it there. 45 minutes of talking Celtic stuff, talking about Joe Hart, talking about players that we could bring in, players that could go out, about the game on Saturday. I think we should win against Kilmarnock, hopefully 3-0 on Saturday. I think they will park the bus against us, like very same to the first half. And then hopefully we'll see. We'll get to Hampden for a final. Well, obviously gone to Hampden, but for the final would be excellent to retain our League Cup, fingers crossed. And if he's not aware, the other semi-final is Aberdeen and Rangers. So do subscribe. Speak to us all soon. Good night. God bless. Take care. Hell.